Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I'm behind schedule again today, but I've got a lot of good information, so watch this. Now, we've been kind of sitting here around that 112, I guess, to 130 range on XRP. It seems to just kind of be doing a little bit of a pullback slash sitting still. The market's sitting still, kind of not anything crazy going on. So, I saw Uphold tweet this today. Do you think XRP will hit double digits this year? I personally do believe that. I think it's been a long time coming. I think that somehow, some way, this SEC thing goes away. And I think that when that happens, I think we just shoot to somewhere in the 10s or 20s at least. That's what I believe. Crypto Bull had tweeted this. After taking another look at the XRP chart, I think the correction is done. And then he says this, or he had retweeted this. XRP chart has all the answers of your questions, where we are going. This chart we all have to love. I hope that this person is right. It says bear trap bull run is over. Come back after a few weeks. And then he says it's going to hit, boom, 120. Boy, do I hope this person is right. Now, BitBoy was on, I think this guy's channel is called The Moon, because my dad, the official father of the Digital Asset Investor channel, watches his channel all the time. He's a Bitcoin maxi all the way, which is also part of the fun of watching this clip, because he sits there in stunned silence like that other group of maxis we watched the other day. Listen to what BitBoy says.
And that's kind of what I see with XRP right now, is this is easy money. And I think that all of the judgment and the hate towards the XRP army and all of the things that they've said over the last few years, I think it's going to age very badly, because it looks like they're right about a lot of stuff. Now, were they getting crazy conspiracy theory? Were they doing crazy conspiracy theories and reading too much into things? Maybe on some level, but the banks are adopting XRP. The big narrative before was that, the banks were using the Ripple technology, but they weren't going to be using XRP. Now, a lot of people don't know, when Ripple rebranded a lot of their products and came out with RippleNet, you have to use XRP to use.
I don't think he really means that. I think here what he really means is that it's plug and play. Once you're using RippleNet, they've created this so that it's more or less you can push a button and use XRP if you choose to do so.
You have to use XRP to use their on-demand liquidity service now. XRP is now woven.
You do have to use it to use on-demand liquidity.
That entire, the UI that is RippleNet that all the banks are going to be using. And we're seeing slowly, one by one in Asia, more banks committing to Ripple. This has already been determined. The banks are going to use Ripple. When you start understanding that 90% of the banks are owned by basically one entity, you really start understanding that these dominoes are falling, but they've been predetermined to fall. So Ripple is out there doing work right now. They're adding so much to what they're offering, and the banks are starting to adopt it. Meanwhile, in the United States, they've got the SEC lawsuit. It's very clear they're winning that lawsuit. It's very clear at worst they're getting a slap on the wrist. How do we know that? Well, we know it from all the news, but we also know it because around the world, they're continuing business like normal. They haven't slowed down at all. They know that they're going to win this. And when that happens, which I'm being told by some insiders on the case.
We've got some insiders again.
The middle of September at the latest is going to be when this thing is going to be settled. They said things are changing rapidly. It could be much earlier than that. It could change as we get closer to that date. But by the middle of September, the SEC lawsuit should be settled. So in about a month from now. So you think about that September 12th date for Cardano, and you think about the middle of September for XRP, we could be looking at the most explosive altcoin season we've ever seen, led by those two coins.
Boy, I sure do hope he's got some major inside sources, because if he does, we're going to be partying like it's 1999 in September. Jack McDonald, who is the CEO of Standard Custody, which is a subsidiary of Polyson. For those of you that have been around for a while, Polyson is the most secretive custody project on the planet, or at least it was. And he's the CEO of Standard Custody, which is a subsidiary of Polyson. All right. So he tweeted this out today. I got into blockchain because I'm confident digital assets are the future of finance. 2021 is the year for digital asset adoption. Onwards, okay? Now, that's a bold statement coming from a guy at the CEO level. I decided I'd look on YouTube and see if he's been doing any interviews recently, and he had. Here you go. These are clips I clipped together.
Our founder is Arthur Brito, who was one of the 3 co-founders of Ripple, responsible for designing and developing the XRP ledger, which compared with Bitcoin basically exceeds every measure around scalability, throughput, speed of transactions, cost effectiveness, environmentally friendliness, etc. We also have David Schwartz, who is on our board and an investor in the company, a strategic advisor. He's the current CTO and chief cryptographer at Ripple. So these guys are real rock stars in their field. I come from a traditional finance background, having run a company called Conifer before a successful exit. We have Tim Keeney, whom you know, who casts a very long shadow in this industry, ran all asset servicing at BNY Mellon for 12 years. So we really feel like we understand how traditional finance and capital markets work, but also really on the cutting edge of cryptography and blockchain. So we bring that to bear.
So Standard Custody and Trust being sold to a major global custodian bank in a few years' time is one exit for your investors.
It wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
Whether it's fiat to crypto, crypto to crypto, or crypto to fiat, and do that within the walled garden of our regulated and insured custodial platform. So it's essentially an off-chain or off-exchange transaction, an OTC transaction, but you can do that in a trusted and insured manner. Capital markets, as we know it, is going to be transformed and is going to be digitized 10 years from now. The world is absolutely changing. All the analogies around the train has left the station, et cetera. It is undeniable in my mind that the world is going digital in terms of capital markets specifically, and that
the train has left the station. Isn't that the same thing that Rosie Rios, who joined Ripple's board and used to work at the U.S. Treasury and has her name on all the money, her signature on all the money in your pocket? I think that's the same phrase. Wonder if they ever talk.
Asset servicing as we know it will fundamentally change. There's no reason we have to have T+2 settlement in the U.S. other than having been built on legacy infrastructure and architecture. There's also, I think, a vested interest in having a delayed settlement period. There's a lot of hands in the cookie jar who enjoy the float over that time.
All right. Okay. Now, we've been talking the last couple of videos about this organization, Empower Oversight, who had filed the Freedom of Information Act thing with the SEC to get information, to get records of communications from, one of them was William Hinman, one was Jay Clayton, and one was Berger. What's his name? Mark Berger. Okay, Mark Berger I had never looked into, but I decided I would look into him, and I did. So I put together this video just to show you this is Mark Berger. He was the guy that literally, he was in charge of filing the Ripple lawsuit. He stepped down right after that. But the important thing, then I found a video clip of him talking about the revolving door at the SEC and how that's not really a big deal. He's the first video you'll see, then you'll see some more. Just watch.
There is, this concept of a revolving door, and there's a lot of criticism. Are people going into the government, out of the government, representing entities, and then they're back in the government, and now, can they charge those entities that they just represented? In my experience, your loyalty is, in the place you're at, and you can be a very hard prosecutor, a hard-charging prosecutor, and when you're on the defense side, you do everything in your client's best interest, and I don't see people bending the rules or playing favoritism.
Okay, Now look, what you're looking at here is a screenshot. That's William Hinman, the guy that went to the microphone and gave his personal opinion, and also gave the market the impression that because he was standing against an SEC backdrop, gave the market the impression that Ethereum was not a security for the last 3 years. Okay, that's William Hinman. He was being paid by Simpson Thacher, the law firm that he worked for before he was at the SEC. Then he went back to Simpson Thacher after that. Okay, Simpson Thacher is a member of the Ethereum Alliance. Okay, well, guess who else? The guy you just saw in that video, he also went to Simpson Thacher. Watch. There he is. That's Mark Berger. And then we've got Simpson Thacher. The next screenshot is showing you the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance connects Fortune 5. So these are the newest members of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. Simpson Thacher, where they went. By the way, in a best case scenario, that shows you an extreme and ridiculous conflict of interest. William Hinman, even if he didn't do anything wrong here, he had no business being the person that walked to a microphone with those conflicts of interest. In his best case scenario, this is an ethical problem and a major conflict of interest. In his worst case, well, you know where that worst case leads. But we're going to find out. Freedom of Information Act. Can't wait to get our hands on those hot little communications.
So based on your personal client disclosures then, for half of your tenure as SEC chair, you would not be able to vote to enforce the law against several big banks, including Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank, Barclays, and UBS. Is that right?
Yes, Senator.
Thank you. Your recusals would not be limited just to your own former clients. The Ethics Executive Order also requires you to recuse yourself for 2 years from any matter in which your former law firm, Sullivan and Cromwell, represents a party. Now, Sullivan and Cromwell is a leading New York law firm with a very long list of Wall Street clients. So for half of your term as SEC chair, you would not be able to vote to punish any corporation or bank that uses Sullivan and Cromwell as their lawyer. Is that right?
I believe that's a fair summary, Senator. Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So anybody who he represented, or who I think Sullivan and Cromwell represents. So think about that for a minute. In what world is it smart for the United States, for we as the citizens to have an SEC chairman whose job is to regulate not just hand-picked companies, but any company that commits any kind of violations of what the SEC is supposed to watch after? And we're putting people in place that have not one, but hundreds of conflicts of interest where they can't even do their job. What has happened to this country? What has happened to this country? And not only that, not only are they doing it, but then we have a media who doesn't do their job and put the microphone in their face and ask them what in the hell they were doing and what in the hell these congressmen were doing putting them there. What has happened to this country? What in the world has happened to this country and potentially my children's future? It makes me sick. Look at this. He can't go after Goldman Sachs. He can't go after, who else here? Morgan Stanley, Citigroup, Barclays, Oak Tree Capital Group, RTO Global Investors. And I looked at his information in his public disclosure. I think freaking Apollo, where he's now working and getting paid, was on the list of companies he could not go after while he was SEC chairman. What have you people done to the United States of America? It is sick. This is sick. I sure hope that the cavalry finally has arrived and that they're going to do something about all this, because it's disgusting. And it really does make me sad for my children's future. It really does. Okay, this is what the SEC put out when they announced that they were going to sue Ripple. And this Mark Berger guy, he's in here and he's quoted. Well, at the bottom, it shows all the people that were working on this lawsuit right here. Well, if you remember, one of them left right after the new administration came in. His name was Dugan Bliss. Well, where does he go? Well, you remember the last couple of weeks we've been seeing that BlockFi, that different states were going after BlockFi. It says BlockFi is in regulators' crosshairs. DeFi is next. Well, here's Dugan Bliss, and I just happened to go, just out of curiosity, wanted to see where he went. Well, he went to BlockFi. So this is when James Phelan had said SEC Attorney Dugan Bliss moves to withdraw from the case because he's leaving the employ of the SEC. Can you say revolving door, folks? You see how this works? Okay, I'm going to end this video here. I want you to all listen good, especially those of you that haven't been around for a while. This is a screenshot. It looks like of an email somebody got or an article. Hacker reportedly stole personal data of 100 million T-Mobile customers. Let me explain to you all how this works, because there's a thing called a SIM swap. And the way it works is they either steal data like this, or they get these hackers get someone inside of a T-Mobile. And then they try to get a 24-hour period and take over your cell phone. So all of you who have opened a Coinbase account or any other kind of account, and then you use two-factor authentication on your phone, I think it's via text, if you did that, then you are susceptible to a SIM swap where you can be asleep in bed and you wake up the next morning and realize someone took control of your stuff and stole all your crypto. Here's the way around that. This is what I do. This is institutional grade custody right here. It's called a Yubico, it's a key. It's called a, I'm drawing a blank. It's called a security key is what it's called. It's this little thing. You buy these, they're like $50. I'm going to put a link to this at the top of the description of this video. It's these security keys, all you do, and they're like $50 or something. And I think I might even have a discount in there. But you click on the link. You go and get a YubiKey, $50. They mail you this thing. Make sure you do it straight from the link. They mail you this thing. Then from then on, you're going to go into your Coinbase account, or most accounts. And it's not just Coinbase. You can secure your Twitter account. You can secure a lot of your online accounts with this. You go in there. You're gonna go to the security section, and you will literally turn off your authenticator you're using on your phone, and then you'll choose the option to use the security key, and then it'll tell you what to do. Then from then on, the only way to log into your account is the person must be holding that physical key, and have your username and password, and have the email address, all the other fail safes that are there. But if they don't have this, they don't get in your account. I don't care what they do. And that is the fact, Jack. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family. It's not an if, but it's a must. You have to have a security key if you're going to have any of your digital assets in any of these accounts online.